Okay, I'm going to try to do this while I balance this phone, but a few people asked me about the vermicompost for the room castings for my garden, of course. So, real quick, I kind of just keep it in a spare closet that we don't use. And first thing I check for before opening is making sure there's no liquid down here, which there's not. Before there was a lot of liquid because what I feed it, it had too much water in it. And this is I only put four things in it to feed. This is actually a pretty big bowl, but it's watermelon because I eat that every day. The white specks is just eggshells that I grind up, and the dark stuff is coffee grounds from K cups that Pale drinks every morning, and the yellow is banana peels from the smoothies I make for Rain occasionally. So those are only four things that I put in for the particular nutrients that they're good for. And this, for my bedding, I basically just bought this cheap little paper shredder, which everyone probably should have anyway. And I just throw my mail in here when I'm not using it. So that's where I get my bedding from. So of course, it's the Urban Rare bag, and I'm gonna open it, and hopefully it's not too wet. If there's too much condensation on the top, that means I'm feeding it too much, which happened last time. So I took a 2 week break. They usually feed once every week, but I waited 2 weeks because it was like water all over the place. It was just too much, and I realized when you put watermelon in, you don't have to add water to it. So I put cardboard pieces on the top here, and worms aren't trying to escape off the side, so they must be happy enough. But it's still kind of wet. Wait, there's a worm there. And that's a good sign that when you see the small ones, that means they're actually like making more. Oh, they're a lot. So I guess they're hungry because usually they're not at the top. But like I said, I waited 2 weeks to let it dry out some, and I don't see too much movement. There's some movement, but not a whole. Oh yeah, there is. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Y'all see all the rooms at the top, which they should not be. So I'll dig in a little bit. And it looks like they're processing things pretty well. Like if I take a chunk like that, you'll see I don't see much food anymore. I see paper still, but I don't see a whole lot of food. And then I still see worms in there, so that means it's not too dry at least. If it was too dry, the worms would die out, and if it was too wet, they would try to escape. And it hasn't been the case. Doesn't look like it. But there's still like a lot of paper on top, which I did on purpose because, like I said last time, it was just way too wet. But I started this a couple of months ago, and hopefully by February, March, I can start my spring garden. Uh-oh. Sorry, that was about to fall. Okay, so I kind of mix this up a little bit so that they'll start eating that. And then I'll like dig out a small like hole right here in the middle, right? And then I'll dump my food right there, or their food, there in the middle. And one way I know that they have been eating is I don't see any old watermelon rinds in here. Just the stuff that I just put in. And so I'll kind of cover it just a little bit. Okay, and then I don't know if I want to put more paper on here because it doesn't feel too ridiculously wet. Oh, I'll put some. And all of it fell in. God, dog, it's tearing. Sweater. floor. Okay, so I got to sweep now, or Rain has to sweep now. All right, let me take some of this out. I don't want too much in here. I guess I could leave it and just add more water, but I don't want to. So I just make sure there's just enough covering dirt. Okay. Doggy girl, ridiculous. Okay, and then I'm gonna put these right back down. Just to cover it. This way. Okay. Up. And that's all I do. And as you can see, the paper all over the floor because I'm an idiot. But if I start seeing like water down here at the bottom and I know it's too wet, too dry, or if I even see some worms trying to escape, then I'll know it's too dry. Excuse me. Or actually wet. They actually try in both instances, so you might want to check into one. But that's pretty much it. I do this once a week. I'm gonna check this at the end of the weekend though, just to make sure that the water level is decent enough. And if not, then I'm just gonna do this again next Friday. So very simple, very easy. And then of course at the bottom when it's ready, that's where I'll take the worm castings out to add to my garden. But again, that won't be ready until February, so I just keep doing this. And already it's like halfway full, as you can see. And I've actually been doing this since I think the end of August, September or something like that. So we're in a good spot. Halfway full. I'm halfway through the process. I want this to be done and ready by the end of February. That's all.